Stop. There are 5 words that have decided the shape of your hair for the last 20 years, and you have never once thought of them as an instruction. Just give me something easy. You say it to be kind, to not be any trouble, and what your stylist hears is do not change anything. So she takes the ends off and hands you back the same round shape a little heavier than before. I call that the easy cut, and nobody chooses it. Today I am giving you 5 haircuts to ask for instead, plus the 3 sentences that should replace those 5 words at your very next appointment. Near the end, 3 habits that undo any good cut within weeks. If you want to look sharper and feel lighter after 60, like this video and hit subscribe right now. You are in the chair. The cape is on, the mirror is in front of you, and she asks what you would like today. And you say it the way you have said it for 20 years in the friendliest voice you own. Just give me something easy. Here is what you mean by that. Do not make a fuss over me. Do not take up your whole afternoon. Do not turn me into one of those women who needs an hour with a round brush every morning. Here is what she hears. Keep the shape she came in with. Take the ends off. Do not risk anything. Those are 2 completely different instructions, and the second one is the one that gets cut. So let me describe what comes back. A round perimeter, 1 uniform length, no interruption anywhere in the shape. You turn your head to the left and it looks the same as the right, and from behind it looks the same again. That is the easy cut, and there is nothing in it for the eye to catch. Now, why that matters, and it is not the reason you have been told, there is a term stylists use behind the chair called the weight line. It means the horizontal band where your hair looks heaviest, and it is the exact place the eye stops traveling when somebody looks at you. Every haircut has one. Almost no woman has ever been told that hers exists. In the easy cut, that line sits low, round, and roughly level with your jaw. So the eye arrives at your face, drifts downward, reaches that heavy round edge, and has nowhere else to go. Everything above it gets pulled in the same direction. Your face is not heavier than it was. The eye is simply being sent down and given no reason to come back up. And I want to be straight with you about one thing before we start. No haircut changes anyone's age, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. What a haircut changes is where light lands, where shadow falls, and where the eye stops. And those 3 things are precisely what people are reading when they look at a stranger and quietly guess. Here is the part that stings. You never chose this shape. Nobody sits down and asks for it by name. It arrived 1 polite sentence at a time, and every stylist who took the easy request handed it back to you a little rounder than the visit before. Think about how much else you get right. The coat you chose carefully. The lipstick that took 3 tries to find. The way you still put yourself together on an ordinary Tuesday when nobody is coming over. And then a haircut sitting on top of all of it, quietly arguing with every other decision you made that morning. Not anymore. 5 cuts, counting down, and every one of them moves that weight line somewhere better. The first one does not ask you to lose a single inch of length. Number 5, the butterfly cut. This one is for the woman who has been told for the last 10 years that she really ought to just cut it all off, and who has absolutely no intention of doing so. So let me say the useful part first. You do not have to. Here is what a butterfly cut actually is. 2 different layer lengths living inside one haircut. Short pieces around your face at the front, long layers everywhere else, blended so carefully that from behind nobody can see where one becomes the other. Every inch of your length stays exactly where it is. What moves is your weight line. Instead of sitting down at your perimeter, wherever that happens to fall, it lifts up to your cheekbone because that is where the shortest front pieces stop. The eye now catches at the top of your face rather than sliding past it, and everything above that point reads lifted. That shortest front piece is the entire haircut. Stylists call it the face framing layer, and it is the one detail that decides whether this works beautifully or does nothing at all. So, here is the specific thing to ask for. The shortest face framing piece should land at your cheekbone, not your chin. A front layer, cut to chin length, simply rebuilds the same round shape you came in to escape, except now it has steps in it. Cheekbone lifts, chin drags, same haircut, opposite result. 2 branches worth knowing before you go. If your hair is fine, ask for fewer face framing pieces cut softly, because too many will thin out the front and start showing scalp along your part. If your hair is thick, coarse, or has any wave in it, you can take considerably more, and that natural movement will hold the shape without a single minute of heat. Now, who this is wrong for? Because it is wrong for somebody. If you wear your hair up most days, skip this one. Those short front pieces fall straight out of every ponytail and clip you own, and instead of framing your face, they simply hang there. You will spend 6 months tucking them behind your ears. And here is how it grows out, which almost nobody ever tells you. This is the most forgiving cut on the entire list. The front pieces lengthen gradually toward your jaw over about 3 months, and it reads as deliberate the whole way down. There is no awkward stage. If you are nervous about committing to anything at all, that one fact makes this the right place to start. Styling is smaller than the cut looks. 1 pass with a large barrel iron on the front pieces only, curling away from your face rather than toward it. The back needs nothing, because those long layers underneath are already moving on their own. All of your length. None of the heaviness. Number 4, the bottleneck bob. Before we go any further, understand what is doing the work here. It is not the length, it is the fringe. The shape underneath is simple enough, a bob sitting somewhere between your jaw and your collarbone, cut with a clean perimeter, worn with a bottleneck fringe across the front. That fringe is the part almost nobody can describe properly, so here it is. A bottleneck fringe is shaped like the neck of a bottle, narrow and closed at the temples, then flaring open as it comes down toward your cheekbones. It sits in a soft arch across your forehead and sweeps outward on both sides rather than hanging straight down over your eyes. That shape lifts your waistline all the way up to the brow, because the fringe becomes the heaviest horizontal element anywhere in the haircut. Nothing lower down competes with it. And that changes where people look. The eye arrives, gets caught in the top third of your face, and travels sideways across your brow and cheekbones instead of dropping toward your jaw. That happens before anyone has consciously noticed your hair at all. Now, the honest part, because you have almost certainly been warned off fringes. That warning is not entirely wrong. A heavy blunt fringe cut straight across and sitting flat on a softening forehead genuinely does look severe. It lays a hard shadow across the exact area you want light on. A bottleneck is neither heavy nor blunt. It is open, separated, and lighter at every single edge. That is precisely why it works, where the others fail. 2 branches before your appointment. A high forehead takes a wider opening and more sweep at the sides, which softens the height without hiding it. Hooded or deep-set eyes need the fringe kept clearly above the brow with visible skin between the two, because a fringe that touches your lashes closes the eyes down and cancels the whole benefit. Who this is wrong for? If you have a cowlick at your front hairline, be careful here. A cowlick will part a bottleneck fringe straight down the middle within about an hour, and no amount of drying will persuade it to close. Your stylist can usually feel 1 in 10 seconds, so ask her before she cuts. And here is how it grows out. The fringe needs attention roughly every 4 to 5 weeks, while the length can happily wait twice that long. So budget for a fringe trim rather than a full appointment. Most salons do them in 10 minutes for very little, and plenty do them free between cuts. Styling is refreshingly small. The fringe is the only part of this haircut that needs a dryer, and it takes under a minute. Dry it side to side, never straight down, and it holds its own shape for the rest of the day. The fringe does the work. The bob just holds it in place. If this is already changing what you plan to say at your next appointment, subscribe. This channel covers exactly these kinds of fixes every single week. Number 3, the Italian bob. This is the one that reads expensive from across a room, and it manages it without a single expensive thing being involved. Here is the shape. Chin grazing cut blunt at the perimeter with volume kept high through the back and a soft bend turning inward at the very ends. Short, but never sharp, and never severe. There is a roundness to it, which is exactly why women who found the last 2 cuts too bold tend to land here instead. But the roundness has to sit in the right place, and this is where it goes wrong. Your weight line in this cut sits at the chin, and it has to be held there deliberately. Clean, level, unmistakable. What ruins it is letting that line sag below the jaw, at which point you have built a slightly shorter version of the shape you came in to leave. A clean horizontal at the chin works like a full stop for the eye. It arrives, it stops there, and everything above that line reads firmer and more defined than it does without one. Now, the technical distinction that makes or breaks this haircut. You want a blunt perimeter with the weight taken out from underneath, invisible from the outside. Stylists call that invisible weight removal, and it means the bulk comes out from beneath the surface so the bottom edge stays completely intact. Not layers on top. And here is where you may need to speak up. If your stylist starts stacking visible layers over the top of this cut to create movement, stop her before the second pass. That is the exact moment an Italian bob becomes a round helmet. It is the most common mistake made with this shape, and it happens in good salons to good clients constantly. 2 branches. A rounder face keeps the length a touch longer just below the chin, parted slightly off-center rather than down the middle. A longer or more angular face can take it shorter, with the ends kept straighter, which balances the vertical. Who this is wrong for. If your hair is both fine and low density, a blunt perimeter can end up looking sparse rather than solid because there simply is not enough hair to fill that clean edge. You will see through it in daylight. A softer, more textured shape serves you far better, and we get to exactly that one at number 2. And here is how it grows out, which matters more with this cut than any other. It drops. Within 6 to 8 weeks, that chin line has slid down past your jaw and the entire benefit inverts. This shape has the strictest appointment rhythm on the list, so book the next one on your way out rather than deciding later. Styling is simple. A blow dry with the ends turned gently inward, or a flat iron with a small bend on the last inch. Nothing more. And here is why it looks so polished on hair that is not in perfect condition. Blunt ends reflect light in one continuous line, feathered ends scatter it. Same hair, same shine, but that clean edge catches the light and reads glossy. Sharp at the chin, soft everywhere else. Number 2, the feathered crop. Here is the truth that gets lost in every conversation about short hair. Short hair does not age anyone. Short hair cut as one solid mass does. The feathered crop is the opposite of a solid mass. It is built entirely from light, tapered pieces of different lengths, with real movement through the top and a close, clean nape at the back. The technique behind it has a name: slide cutting. The shears travel down along the section rather than closing across it, so each piece thins gradually toward the end instead of stopping at a blunt edge. That is what produces feathering. Not shredding, tapering. And here is what separates this from everything else on the list. It does not move your weight line. It removes it almost entirely. With no single heavy horizontal anywhere in the shape, there is nothing pulling downward at any point. The hair sits away from your head instead of on it, and it moves when you turn. Lightness is most of the effect people are actually responding to. If you were sent here from number 3 because your hair is fine, this is why. A crop does not have to fill a solid edge, so thinner hair reads as deliberate texture rather than as a gap. Now the technique to refuse. Thinning shears used to fake this. They do not taper, they shred. And on hair that is finer than it once was, they leave weakened, fuzzy ends that will neither lie down nor stand up. Both look similar in the chair. 3 weeks later, they look nothing alike. 2 branches. Coarse or slightly wavy hair is ideal here and needs almost nothing done to it because the natural bend holds the feathering open by itself. Very fine straight hair needs the feathering kept light, or the ends begin showing gaps. Who this is wrong for? Anyone who cannot get to a chair roughly every 5 weeks. Say that out loud before you commit, because this shape has no long version of itself. Which brings me to how it grows out, and this is the least forgiving cut on the list. It does not lengthen into something else. It simply loses its edges and starts reading shapeless, usually right around week 7. Styling takes seconds, a little cream on the fingertips, raked forward and to the side, no dryer, no brush, no round brush gymnastics on a Tuesday morning. The lightest cut here, and the one that moves the most. And it is still not number 1. Number 1, and if you take one cut from this entire video to your next appointment, let it be this one. The French bob with a soft fringe. Short, blunt, sitting at your jaw or just above it. Worn with a light wispy fringe across the front. Here is why it earns first place. And it is a genuinely different reason from anything else on this list. Every other cut we covered moves one horizontal. This one moves both at the same time. The perimeter comes up to your jaw, and the fringe brings the top line down to your brow. Your entire face is reframed between 2 new lines in a single appointment. Nothing else here does both. Now, the detail that decides whether this looks modern or looks like a wig, and almost nobody mentions it. The fringe corners, those are the 2 points where your fringe ends and your length begins, one at each temple. Cut square, straight down, and you have a visor. Softened and angled slightly outward so the fringe melts into the length rather than stopping dead, and you have the version you have been admiring on other women without knowing why it worked. Ask for soft corners. Those 2 words will change the whole cut. The fringe itself should sit above your brow, separated with skin visible through it. You want to be able to see your forehead between the pieces. What you do not want is a solid curtain of hair lying flat across it. 2 branches. Straight fine hair carries this fringe wider across the forehead. Wavy hair needs it kept narrower, or the wave will lift it and you will spend every morning fighting for it. Who this is wrong for, and I want to be direct about it. If you need the option of tying your hair back in summer, This is not your cut because there is no version of a French bob that goes into a ponytail. And if you have a very short neck, jaw length can close the gap between your chin and your shoulder rather than opening it. In that case, take the Italian bob at number 3, which gives you a similar line with a little more room. How it grows out is the honest part, and this cut deserves it more than any other. A jaw-length blunt line is only a jaw-length blunt line for about 6 weeks. The fringe needs attention sooner than that. This is the highest maintenance cut on the entire list, and you deserve to know that sitting at home rather than discovering it in October. That is not me talking you out of it. That is so you choose it rather than fall into it. Because here's what I actually want to say about this haircut. Short hair has been sold to women over 60 as surrender for about 50 years. Give up, cut it off, keep it easy. This is the exact opposite of that. Nobody arrives at a French bob by accident, and nobody keeps one without meaning to. It is the most deliberate haircut a woman can walk in and request, and everyone who sees it reads it that way, whether or not they could tell you why. Styling is almost nothing. Air dry with a little cream through it, or 90 seconds with a dryer in your fingers. Blunt ends handle the rest by themselves. The boldest cut here, and the one that changes the most. If that just made you sit up a little straighter, subscribe. This channel exists for exactly that moment. Now, the countdown is finished, but we are not. Because every one of these 5 cuts can be lost in the first 2 minutes of your appointment, before a single snip is made, if you say the wrong sentence. So let us fix the sentence. This is the part the title promised you, so get a pen. Here is why just give me something easy. Fails. And it is not because it is a bad thing to want. It fails because it describes how you want the appointment to feel. It says nothing about what you want the hair to do. And no stylist alive can cut a feeling, so she does the only sensible thing available to her. She gives you the safest shape she has. Replace it with 3 sentences in this order. Sentence 1, name the cut. Not a mood, not something a bit fresher, not something that suits me. The actual name. A butterfly cut. A bottleneck bob. An Italian bob. A feathered crop, a French bob with soft corners. Sentence 2, name where you want the weight to sit. At my cheekbone, at my chin, at my brow. You have that vocabulary now, and I promise you almost nobody who sits in that chair does. Say it and watch her face change. Sentence 3, and this is the one women skip. Name what you are not willing to do at home. That 3rd sentence is the reason more good haircuts fail than any other. A stylist cutting for a daily blow dry you are never actually going to do is building a shape that only exists inside the salon. It looks wonderful when you leave and it is gone by Thursday, and then you decide the cut was wrong when the cut was fine. So tell her the truth. Say that you air dry. Say that you have 5 minutes. Say that you will never own a round brush and you are at peace with that. It is useful information, not a confession. A good stylist adjusts the whole cut around it and is grateful you said so. One more thing to bring. 3 photographs, all of the same shape rather than 3 different ideas. 1 picture is ambiguous. 3 of the same silhouette tells her exactly what you mean before you have opened your mouth. And choose them for the outline of the hair, not for the woman in them. If you picked it because you liked her face, you are asking for something nobody can cut. Then, before the first snip, ask 3 questions. Question 1. Where exactly will the weight sit in this cut, and can you show me on my own hair? Question 2. How will this hold its shape if I do not blow dry it? Question 3. How will this look at 8 weeks and what will have changed by then? A stylist who answers those clearly, puts her hands in your hair to show you, and tells you honestly what grows out first is worth keeping for the next 20 years. One who tells you not to worry and that she will just tidy it up has told you everything you need to know. If those 3 sentences just saved you from another year of the same shape, tap that like button. It helps more women over 60 find this. Now, the 3 habits I promised you at the very start. Every one of them takes a good haircut and quietly rebuilds the easy cut on top of it. The first is booking a trim. Think about what that word actually means. A trim preserves the existing shape and removes the ends. That is its entire job. So every appointment you book as a trim is an appointment spent carefully protecting the shape you came here to leave. If you want something different, the word is cut, and you have to say it out loud. The second is the round brush, rolled under, all the way around your head. It does not matter which of these 5 you walked out with. That one motion, repeated every morning, rebuilds the same rounded silhouette by lunchtime. Dry the front pieces away from your face. Dry the back with your fingers or a flat brush. Keep the round brush for the ends if you use it at all. The third is spraying the shape rigid. A haircut that does not move when you turn your head reads as a wig, no matter how beautifully it was cut. Movement is most of the effect. If your hair holds its position when you shake your head, you have used too much, and the cut underneath is hidden by it. One honest thing before we finish. If you have brought a clear brief to the same stylist 3 times and walked out with the same shape 3 times, that is not you failing to explain yourself. Some stylists cut one shape, that is all. Leaving a chair you have sat in for 15 years is uncomfortable, and it is allowed, and it is not a betrayal of anybody. So that is the easy cut, not a haircut anyone designed. Just the shape that grows in the space where a clear request should have been. And here is what I keep coming back to. For years, you have walked into that room and described what would be easiest for everybody else. Something low maintenance. Nothing that would be any trouble. Just the usual. And I suspect a version of that sentence has followed you a very long way past your hair. Easy was never the thing you wanted. Easy was the thing you asked for so that nobody would have to work very hard on you. You are allowed to ask for the thing you actually want, out loud, by name, in a chair you are paying for. So tonight, stand in front of the mirror and put one finger on the place where your hair looks heaviest. That is your weight line. Then ask yourself one honest question. Is that where I want people to stop looking? Next time, we are covering the 3 hair colors that quietly add years and the ones that give them straight back. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 you are booking. Like this video, subscribe, and let us keep making this the season you ask for what you want.